got your attention now, don't I?
This is the Black Rifle Coffee Podcast. Prepare to get caffeinated.
Welcome to the Black Rifle Coffee Podcast. I'm your host for this one, Logan Stark. Joining me today is veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces, Kelsi Sheren. Kelsi was an artillery gunner over in Afghanistan and has since started the brand Brass and Unity. She's been doing a tour, jumping on various podcasts in the United States for the last couple months and was able to get down to Texas to sit down with us. I particularly like this episode because I think Kelsi's got a unique perspective on life after some of the stuff that she's been through, and I always enjoy getting the time to sit down and have a meaningful conversation with people who have a little bit different perspective based on the decisions that they've made in their life, putting themselves out there, trying to do difficult tasks, and Kelsi is definitely one of those people. So thank you for listening, and I present Kelsi Sheren.
But do you think that you have to be obsessive to be good in the business world these days?
Yeah, I think to an extent. I mean, if you're living in this day and age, like think about it. 50 years ago, there was not technology the way there is now. When you left the office, you left the office.
Right.
You never leave the office anymore because your phone is always with you.
Right.
There's access always to everything. So I just think it's almost impossible. I mean, you can put boundaries.
It's almost impossible not to be obsessive about these types of things.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be successful, that seems like that's what it takes to be successful now. You have to be on all the time. Because think about it for a second. How many people do you know that go home and do a 9 to 5 and never touch their phones or never do anything on the weekends to help support or just go out of their way that end up being ginormous? Think about that logically. Like Elon Musk, for example, if Elon just was like,
it's 5.
Cars and rockets
punching
end at
that
5.
clock.
5 o'clock. There's no more rocket talk. Like we wouldn't be caffeinating Mars.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And it begs the question, should you ever turn it off? Should you be obsessive, or are humans more efficient in a 9 to 5 capacity where they decide that the thing that they're doing most of the day is so horrific that they couldn't possibly continue doing it for another 5 hours before they went to bed, that they need to physically punch a clock and stop doing that activity?
I think it's not that we would be better off. I think you would live a more balanced life. So I think humanity could be better if we lived more balanced lives. And in order to do that is a certain level of discipline, which doesn't mean that I would prefer sometimes that life was more balanced that way. That all society, I'm not saying like my life in particular, because I think I keep it. I mean, I go pretty hard in the paint when it comes to work, but I also there's a line, and I try to really stick to it. And I think it's because I have a family that I really care to look after and be a part of and present for. But I think to be successful in this day and age, there's an extent that you have to there's an expectation, and if you're not doing it, you can't be. But I also would like to think that if the whole world looked at balance, and if the whole world looked at balance the way I would like it to look at it, then I believe we could be better off for it in some ways, but we would be behind in other ways.
What do you think we would be behind in if we pursued that balance?
I think because it's almost impossible to imagine somebody like an Elon or somebody like literally, like, I don't know why I go to him. I go to him because he's so intensely engrossed in his businesses that they're doing things that no one could ever do. So he's like just the person that just shocks my system when I think of that. I almost can't even think of someone else right now because my brain, like Bezos. Like, do you know what I mean? If you really think about those guys.
People who have achieved a higher level of success when it comes to being a business person.
Yeah, I cannot fathom somebody being able to do that.
It's like if Tesla was alive today, right? Like it would be a version of Elon Musk, right? To where like, what would that individual do if they had the capabilities that certain people have today? And we want to see those people. We want to see these heroes rise who can put everything in our world together and make it work in a positive direction. I think that's why Elon's kind of untouchable, because he's one of those individuals who's taking a look at the complete map of everything that exists in the tech, society, civil,
overall.
And he smashes it all together and he thinks huge. Yeah.
Impossibly huge, to the point where it's hard to fathom that guy's dreams and that thought being in that brain. It'd be intense. Can you imagine how fast, like that would break a normal human brain? To just think about the pace that brain must go. Ugh.
They've made robots that move so fast. I'm pretty sure this might be like one of those Lance Corporal Underground things that I heard.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is true. They've made robots that can move so fast that you need a strobe light in order to see them.
Don't say that to me.
With the human eye.
Don't say those words to me.
Why?
Because that's terrifying. It's cool, but it's also terrifying. Think about that. Just think about that. The wrong hands, but don't no.
But
stress me out.
Here's the thing, is it's gonna happen.
I get it.
We're going to get to that point where we're merging robotics and artificial intelligence. And as opposed to like, I don't want to think about it. Like, no, we should think about it in a big way.
Yeah, it's not that we shouldn't think about it. I don't think we shouldn't discuss it. I don't think we should progress. I don't think that we shouldn't innovate and push to be better, but I don't like it. And it scares the shit out of me. It freaks me out. I'm going to fix this a bit. I don't like it. It freaks me out. It freaks me out because I can't control it. I can't stop it. And it's just going to go. And it's exponential growth and it's happening. And look at the growth from the 1900s to today, or even just 100 years. Look at it.
It's hard to wrap your head around it.
But if you really sit down and break it down, the more you look at it intensely and the more you really realize how quick we have gone from discovering penicillin to robotics doing insane surgeries that most people couldn't try to do on their own. And that's why we're creating robotics to do it. Yeah. So it's almost fail-proof because a robot can't fail. But that's just so crazy. It's a lot. It's so amazing to see. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to bear witness to my God, look at the shuttle that they just had. What was it? The mission?
Oh, the SpaceX?
Yeah. What was it called though? Inspiration 4? Inspiration 4?
The one that raised like $150 million for St. Jude's?
Yeah, that's
the one you're talking about?
That thing's so incredible.
Wow. Yeah. Not only am I going to put a rocket in space and offer tickets to go on it, but we're also going to raise $150 million for St. Jude's.
Yeah. Just because they could and they wanted to do something good with it.
Well, that's what makes me think about Elon and why he's so interesting, because technology is evolving at an exponential rate. And we need so desperately as a society to have humans who are evolving at a rate at least hopefully close to how fast technology and artificial intelligence is evolving.
Right.
So we want I love Elon. Like he's inspirational for what he can potentially accomplish.
He's inspirational I don't even say potentially. He is accomplishing it. So it's hard to believe when you hear somebody say like, I'm going to put people and colonize Mars. And then you see him he follows through with everything. He's like, I'm going to create the fastest electric vehicle on the face of this earth. It's going to be faster than a Porsche. It's going to be affordable. I'm just going to do it. in like super short time. And it's going to be normal and not weird. And
they're better than
every car,
and faster than just about every car that's on the street right now.
Every car.
I
so
rode
great.
in one of the, I think they're the plaid models.
Yeah.
That thing goes from 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds.
Feels good.
And it was the first time I've been in a car that my chest was pushed to the seat so bad that I was like, oh, like I exhaled after it was over. I was like, I want one of these so bad.
I'm surprised you don't have one.
Well, they're not cheap, primarily.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, the point is you could have one and get one then because they're worth it. You could die tomorrow.
This is true.
So what's the problem? What's your issue? What's the crutch?
Oh, I think everything in
Moderation?
in step, right? Like,
fair.
You know, we all have our projects that we're working on, and it's like, is it absolutely, is it something you want? But is it what you need right now?
Oh, no, fair.
And you always I always need these, I need these physical projects that are existing the same time as these mental projects are.
Oh, okay.
Specifically talking about content.
Okay.
And working on this thing that's fucking imaginary.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you think about the process we go through a lot at Black Rifle. It's like, we sit down as humans with nothing. We just bring ourselves and hopefully there's some spicy water, some coffee, and maybe food. And then we say, let's use our brains together and see what comes out of it.
I know.
Maybe we can use these ideas to make money.
And you do.
And somehow all of these wonderful things come out of humans sitting down and talking to each other outside of all of this shit that we constantly have now.
Yeah.
And then working an imaginary thing over time and doing it repeatedly.
Yeah. I watched it this week.
It
was fun.
You did.
It was exactly, I love that you're describing it exactly how it was. And that's why I like just the way you described that, because it was everything you want a creative environment to be. It allowed for freedom of speech. It allowed for creativity. It allowed for individuals to be themselves, and it allowed for no judgment, and it allowed for space to be accepted. And I felt that, and so that's really cool to have. And I think it's important to acknowledge, because that's not always, I keep fucking with your mic, Matt. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to this type of mic.
You don't have to apologize.
Okay.
You probably fucked something up along the way.
No, he didn't. He brought spicy water.
You can throw that spicy water on him right now.
There's so much equipment there. My soul, look at him. This is the face. I feel sad that no one got to witness that face. I'm sorry, Matt. Spicy water. Can we talk about this?
Spicy water. It's a thing with us. It is outside of coffee. I'm working. I'm constantly, I'm like, it's not a super high priority right now, but we're pushing into the ready to drink area.
I've been seeing
the arena quite heavily at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I really want to do, it's just not top priority, is make a sparkling water coffee that's like 30 milligrams of caffeine that you can drink, and you don't have to worry about the caffeine affecting you too much, but it's also refreshing. That's
okay.
Listen,
like a bubbly coffee water?
Yeah. Like maybe black cherry coffee, something in there.
Okay, because then I was going to say, is it going to be like, interesting. That's going to be different.
Yeah. Yeah, we're different.
Yeah, we're thinking
we're
big.
different.
I mean, there was at no point did I think that at all this week.
Right.
You were different at all. Not different or just no. There's other words we use.
I was super disappointed that the jet ski broke down. Not that it broke down, but
we had a good skip planned.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
And it was gonna.
I was let down. It's okay. Do you feel it?
Yeah, you know, those things kind of hurt, because I really wanted that part to have, like, because we can't shoot it with you after you leave. And then, you know, Jared should just be documented as often as possible when he's in his various states of wildness. And he had just earlier ripped the rear bumper off of his STI.
Yeah, I was there in the vehicle when we...
You were in the vehicle when this happened.
I don't know if I wasn't... No, I wasn't in the vehicle when that one got torn off. We we were doing laps. And we stopped to move some rocks because we figured out a new line. So he's like, we both saw these jagged ass I'm going to stop and move those. I'm like, you probably should. I really don't want an airbag.
That's got to be a reassuring moment when the guy who's driving a rally car around a ranch at super fast speeds is like, I'm going to move this rock for safety. And you're like, thank you. The level of trust probably went up a little bit after that.
You know what it was? I'm not afraid of that. I didn't know his abilities though yet. So like, I'm not afraid of going in a rally car. It's fun. I enjoy it. Like that stuff's fun to me.
It's all trust.
But I didn't know what his like capabilities for actually driving it were in between these large trees and Zonkeys. I also didn't know what a Zonkey was. And then I witnessed two in the flesh. It blew my mind for like a second.
Zonkeys are so amazing. And such a wonderful thing that most humans won't see them.
I know, they were cool. It was weird.
And that makes me, what did you think of the ranch? The ranch is special place.
It was.
A lot of now, questionably iconic pieces of content have been filmed there. And it has an aura.
Has a vibe.
Yeah.
That place has vibes. Like, it's hard to describe that place. So we took the rally car through there to the back by the range, which was fun because that should be driven with truck and Humvee only, which was also. And then also like a Sprinter van, which by the way, shot a rock at my windshield today driving here. And I thought it was the most ironic, hilarious thing because I got on the freeway and this van that I was just with yesterday with the guys, and I was like, that can't be them. There's no way that's that coincidental. They were just bombing down the freeway, and I just got on right at that time to come here. And it was the guys. It was the same guys that were on the shoot. And they're driving in front of me. I'm just like on the phone with Brady and just smack. And I was like, what? It just felt weirdly.
It's a rental. It's fine.
Oh, I don't give a shit. It was funny to me that it happened out of all of the vehicles in all of the freeway in all of Texas.
Yep.
That I could have been behind.
Yeah. You'll never forget us. We make sure.
We literally shoot sharp objects at your face at high speeds. Mm-hmm. But it was fun. So the range was cool. I liked that. That made me happy. I got to be around like a 50 cal again and just like all these cool, fun toys. And what I really liked was everyone, when I came in, was like, JD came in with me. And I walked in and everyone was just like, hey, what's up? Like your hat. I was like, cool. And they're just like, you want to hang out? I'm like, yeah. Like, do you want to shoot guns? I'm like, normally, yes, just not right now. But yeah, normally I would have loved to have shot all the guns. And so everyone was just super, really kind and really respectful. And then what I did like was like the way Matt was with everybody with the guns. Like he let everybody shoot. He was like super welcoming but he was like super, it felt like being on a base again. He like carried the gun out to the point where they stand. He loads the gun for him. He shows him how to it felt very instructional again. I haven't been around that in a really long time.
The perpetual RSO.
Oh yeah.
And that will never leave. Ever. It's like, I feel like this whole, now that I'm hearing you talk about it, it's like showing up to summer camp.
Yeah.
But as adults.
Yeah, it's fun.
And better.
Yeah, I had a good time.
With better food.
I didn't get, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. So, food was good. We had food at the end of the day. It was good. I was happy. We ate. But it was fun because what I liked about it was after all of that, we got to go back to the ranch. And the ranch was cool because it's like the same as it was in the 60s and the 70s. And it's got the feeling that it's the same. And what was cool was you were showing me all like the photos and there's like astronauts go there to like hunt and like this property is massive and telling stories about things. And there's like this mantle and I just remember looking at the mantle and all I could picture was like the fire on and like the astronauts standing there with like a scotch and just like the women.
In front of the Cape Buffalo horns. God,
it just felt so American. It hurt.
Feels right.
It felt so right. Yeah. It was a very American, like, I felt like I grew hair on my chest at that moment, like that kind of moment.
God, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, it was super American. So that was great. And it was nice. I got to like hang out. And then there was this, what I really liked about that place was I found this spot in the house that just did it for me. It just hit the right feels at the right time. And it was this big, huge window and these trees. And these trees, I don't know what you call them. I can't remember what they're called, but they look like they have air plants hanging off them. And I love them for some reason. And I just sat there and I remember just staring at the tree and I felt
Those are called Texas trees.
Oh, okay. Texas trees. Fact check that. Texas trees. And I sat there and I felt very stoic, like Mad Men, like the old windows and just very like, he's off like doing terrible things while his wife is at home with the children. Like, it had
gallivanting down the prairie with his 6-shooter.
Yes.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah.
How dare he?
Yes, that's what it felt like. Because that house had those vibes. And I could picture somebody sitting there with like a scotch, just staring off into the abyss. It felt really special. That was nice. It was cool to hang out there. And then I got to meet some cool people, which was really nice.
Yeah. I really like the ranch. Everybody likes the ranch that goes out there, but being a huge history buff and it's got such a cool veteran back history to it. Because in addition to the astronauts that took literal photos from space that are now in that building, Doolittle's Raiders used to go there for their reunions.
Okay.
They were the popularized in Pearl Harbor, directed by Michael Bay.
Okay.
So all the guys that attacked mainland Japan after Pearl Harbor that drove the B-25 They flew. They flew. You fly airplanes.
You can drive.
That is how that works.
You drive the Pacific now.
But it was crazy. They flew these B-25 bombers off a carrier, and they were the first ones to attack mainland Japan after Pearl Harbor. And a few of them didn't make it, and they used to have their reunions out at the ranch. And like
That's
to
so
just
crazy.
Be in the same soil as those guys all these years later, it gives you this immense amount of like pride, responsibility, and like gratitude that you like even ended up there.
It's weird. It was neat when you're looking at it. It's like
it's like an adult secret garden.
It's weird. Yeah, because and that's what it was like. Because when you walk through like the house, there's like that corridor, like when you're going down the one hallway and you look to the right and there are those big glass windows and there's the trees in the middle. I don't know. It's got this unique design, like the way it's laid out because it's so old and it's got this weird vibe that goes with it, and there's an air about it.
Yeah, anything that was designed during the popular days of acid has a different aesthetic feel to it.
The layout itself and the way the house flows, you can feel it. Like, you know, the part with the ramp, like it's kind of like, and then there was where I was sitting was down in the other lower area. And one of the guys, the lead singer, JT came down and he missed the step and I missed the same step at the bottom. And then his buddy behind him was like, watch out for the step. It's like an illusion. It's like the way the house is laid out. The floor is very, it's interesting.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's haunted. There's one stairway that goes up to just one room.
Oh.
Which is super strange.
I'm really glad you didn't tell me that because that would have fucked me up.
It makes me want to go to that, the Winchester house.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard about this I think it's in California.
No, I don't.
It was the wife of the guy who started Winchester Firearms. I could be botching all of these facts. Am I right? Okay. Confirmation from the producer.
Matt knows.
It's right. But she just kind of went crazy and she designed this house so like stairways lead to nowhere and it's a kind of a living maze and they say it's haunted and all this stuff to where she's like, why would people design a house a certain way with these type of decisions in mind? Like, why do you need a stairway that goes to one tiny bedroom? There's not a good answer for it.
Like just maybe wanted like an office tucked away up somewhere.
Well, that's what else is creepy about it is it's so small. Like the room is so small in general that as soon as you walk up the staircase, you're like, I don't like how small this room is.
Oh, it's like an uncomfortably tiny room.
The design of it in general makes it awkward to even be in there.
It's a concerning size for a room that because I guess if you think about it, hold. Is there like, have you ever like checked the walls to see if there's like another room behind something?
I mean, we've done a knock or two, but I also know the layout of the house fairly well at this point. And there's a lot of houses in Texas don't have 2 levels. There's no stairways. This house does.
Okay.
Because it's built on the side of a ravine essentially. And where one stairway is, there's a big opening and it's just like utility attic sort of thing.
Okay.
So if you were to punch through the closet of the other room,
but I wonder,
you would be in a attic essentially.
Okay, so that's what I wonder that though, if there's something behind something that's been like covered up.
Well,
that you don't know. I'm just saying, if it's an uncomfortably small room.
Maybe we just go there tomorrow and do a follow-up podcast from the tiny room at the top of the stairs. No, come on.
Look at Matt's face. I would do that. That's terrifying. I'd have to cleanse myself after that.
Everybody that goes out there is like, is this place haunted? Was someone murdered here? And
I mean, probably, yeah.
I don't think there was. I don't specifically.
On that land?
I've, as a person who has been in physical space and be like, this is creepy as shit. Who was murdered here?
Right.
How many people were murdered here and why?
But what about on the land? Do you think people have been murdered on the land?
Well, I mean, just as a byproduct of time, probably. Okay, that area would have been Comanche territory.
Okay, so people had
San Antonio
scalps.
was a hotbed of
murder.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was a power town. There was a lot of important things that were happening on San Antonio. Obviously, the whole Alamo thing too. But yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, like just the Alamo.
Tons of murder in San Antonio. Yeah.
See, because I don't know all of that, right? Because I'm not from here, so I forget sometimes where I am, like in the places that have significance. Like, so for example, the Alamo, number one. So, okay, this is the thing about this stuff though. It makes me like burp constantly. And then I feel like super rude. See, this is why I drink normal water or I drink coffee on the show.
Hey, just because you have a weakness towards spicy water.
I drink it at home. I have a version of
your tolerance to carbonation.
Okay, sure. We'll do that because I'll just like drink enough of it and I'll like,
yep.
Yeah, okay. So I forget that sometimes. So last time I was down in San Antonio was a handful of years now, I would think. Because I came down and I did the Veteran Project podcast with Tim K.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey, let's, like afterwards, we went out for dinner, right? And we went to this Mexican place that was just, I need to go before I leave. It was so good. And he's like, but it was walking distance to like the Alamo.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the bar, you know, that bar that has like the big, I think it's like a main bar and it has like the original long bar. Can someone help me here?
You're describing this so horribly.
I know because it's, I don't know where it was. It was like right down across from like the river. And there's this bar.
It's not the Cuban place, is it?
I don't know.
There's a restaurant just downtown called Little Havana. And it's a beautiful, beautiful restaurant.
I'll have to ask Tim. I don't know. But the point is, it was supposed to be like the original bar that was there during the Alamo.
Oh, yeah.
So as I'm not describing it horribly, you're just not getting it.
This is where I need my good friend Jack Mandeville to come in because he knows more about San Antonio than any human in San Antonio. Theodore Roosevelt used to stay in one of those.
Yeah, that might be it.
Well, the Esquire Tavern is my favorite restaurant in the city. I don't think that's where Roosevelt used to go, though.
No, but I think that's the one I went to, though. You can
went to Esquire?
Maybe. You can just walk in and it's maybe.
It does have a long wooden bar. Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
There's a downstairs speakeasy.
I didn't go down there.
You didn't go to the speakeasy?
No, because I was like, I was going to try to fly out that night to try to go home. But I ended up flying out like super early in the morning, and I flew in just for that. And I was exhausted. Yeah, that place. Yeah, gosh, you're for the
Manger Hotel.
That's the one. So I didn't do any of that. So I regret that now. I regret that decision. So that's the thing I used to do. So I would do a lot of like, when I was doing work and stuff, I would be like, because I struggled can you get it together? You're embarrassing me right now. God damn it. So I was still struggling with some stuff. So I just like it took everything to like go and do what I was doing during the day. So like by the time I was done, I was like, I gotta go to the hotel and fucking just curl up in a ball. Like it was bad.
You were dealing with some mental angst.
Yes. Yeah. So now though I'm like, God damn it, why couldn't you just get it together and just, because then I missed out on stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there. I'm starting to do it now. I've been doing it now for a little while. So I'm a couple of years now I've been doing it.
What, just having issues in public places and...
Yeah, like for a little bit there. I just didn't feel, I don't know what it was. I was just really anxious and I wasn't able to go get over some shit. And then I finally got to that point where I was able to. And then I was like, okay. Was
it the amount of people around, or was it specifically tied to a physical location?
No, it just, a lot of times it was, if it was a ton of people and there was a lot of movement, a lot of noise, it was really overwhelming me. Mm-hmm. And to the point where it's like, the stuff that like, it wasn't like paranoia, like overseas, like stuff, like where's the door, like that kind of shit. It was just kind of like, no, I didn't like it. I didn't like the energy. It was too heavy. Just felt too fucking chaotic. Was just not something I enjoyed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like stressful in the sense of like, I'm worried like a bomb's going to go off and I won't find the door. Like that stuff I've worked past.
Like your attention was darting too often to too many different things to where you felt like you couldn't really enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's frustrating.
It is.
Because you can't appreciate something.
No, you can't. You can't ever like really feel present. You're just constantly on edge because there's so much to look at.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the stimulus is just like hanging on a level and it drains you quick. Mm-hmm. So I found that was happening. So once I was able to kind of like get past that, that's when I still have that sometimes, like when I'm tired or I'm like just overworked or you're just like, I can't do another, I just need a minute.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if I'm like not sick, I'll push through it. I'll just I'll do it anyway because I should. But there's this sense of like, it's different now in the sense that like I want to do it as opposed to before like having to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's better now?
Yes, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times that where I don't know if maybe I'm just off. I just don't, It's not necessarily someone else's issue. Yeah.
Is there any, and I ask because I know exactly what you're talking about and I more just want to see what worked with you. So like, was there ever a moment where you did something or through the process of it being like this that you figured out something that helped?
For like in those moments or in general? In those types of situations,
as far as like the amount of stimuli that you're having to endure in a public setting is just a little overwhelming, or it's creating this byproduct where you're off kilter? I
try to focus on something, like draw my attention to something and like intentionally like do it with intent. Focus with intent.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if I'm holding this can and we're talking and and it's overwhelming and there's people moving and I'm getting a lot of stimulus, I just rub the can and go, okay. And I start asking a few questions.
You just rub the can?
Rub that can. Rub the can. No, I ask like, what's the can feel like? And I just start talking to myself. What's the can feel like? Feel smooth, soft.
That's so interesting.
Cold.
So you go micro. You like focus on something small right in front of you.
Doesn't have to be right. Yeah, well, because if you can do it then, because what it does then, if you're able to touch something, then you're not just looking at something. You're focused on something and you're getting a tactile, you're getting feedback. You're not just getting visual feedback, right? Mm-hmm. You're getting a tactile feedback. That's helpful, right? And so it's like, well, it's cold. It's like, okay, well, what's it made out of? It's it's made out of tin. It's made out of this. It's got, it's got print on it. It's, okay, was it heavy? It's like, no. Is it like solid? You just ask it. So then your brain just kind of goes hyper focus. And then all of a sudden you're not worried about going on. And then you're able to just your brain's able to go, okay, reset. And then just kind of do a couple little inhale, exhales and try to reset my breathing and then go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't always work, but I try to go to a part where I know I've had success before.
Yeah. Well, I think developing those tools is always hyper successful, as I like to call them. Like,
yeah. Oh no,
how do I get out of this situation?
Yeah.
What tools are in the toolbox for this?
Yeah.
And I was more curious than anything because I went through the same thing.
Yeah,
more
I was
or
just
less,
going to ask you about that.
You're just, you're like, why am I stressed out right now? Why is all this input bothering me?
Right.
And it's very it's a weird conversation you're having in your own head.
You're just chatting with yourself.
With nobody else, Right. So you're walking and you're like, you're with people, obviously. You're in a social setting.
Yeah.
And you're like, why do I feel this way? You're having this conversation with yourself and you're like, what's going on? And then you're trying to be present with your friends around too, right?
But I think there's a balance. Listen, I think if you, let me fix my pants. Oh my God, high-waisted pants. That's a sweet ad for high-waisted pants, mom pants.
Canadian.
Oh, I'm such a mom. The thing you got to realize, and this helps, who you surround yourself with and your ability to manage and handle shit helps if you pick the right people. And I mean that in the sense of pick people that will understand you. So if you're sitting there and you look like you're having a conversation with yourself for a second, there isn't this, oh my God, Logan, you're not paying attention to me. How dare you?
Yeah, it's like, bro, are you okay?
Yeah.
You good right now?
You're good because I know your sketch. I know your previous back life.
That's such a good point. I love that you said that.
People are important. Your circle is important. If you surround yourself with shitty people, you're going to have a shitty response. To an extent, you are who you surround yourself with. People that you surround yourself with, what they believe is what they think. You obviously have something in common with that type of person, or you wouldn't surround yourself with that. And that doesn't mean it's everything, but it means that there's some things. And so if you can pick the positive attributes that you have in common with that other individual, you'll only elevate and better that person that you're with. And in that, you also get an understanding. And with you get that understanding, you get the opportunity to maybe put yourself in a position or a situation you would not normally have put yourself in and expose yourself to something because you feel safer. And that's a huge thing. And people totally overlook that. It's like people overlooking diet. They're like, well, why do I feel so shitty? It's like, do you eat McDonald's all day? Well, yeah, okay. Well, if you put processed shit in you, you're going to feel processed. You got to, what you visually take in, what you visually eat and digest all the time will affect you. You might not realize it, but it will. Who you surround yourself with will affect you, whether you realize it or not. You can have better and positive responses. You just have to be smart about it.
Yeah, I would even go one step further and say,
okay,
you need to surround yourself with nothing but those people.
Oh yeah, there's no time. You can't.
Having a toxic individual around you can offset all of that stuff a lot of times to the point where it doesn't matter. Because what they say 5, right? Isn't that?
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, I feel like that's a book. Hoffman could probably look it up pretty quick, but
he's pretty quick at that. Look at him go.
Yeah,
I see him go.
Yeah,
you should give him a raise.
The thing I have in my brain, at least,
did you see that?
Is always no, I didn't.
The thumbs up for the raise. We both agree 2-1.
5. Okay,
2-1. We win.
Good. He's
democracy.
So good. He's so good. It's a 5. You are like the byproduct of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
most.
Never thought of that.
And I feel
didn't know about this.
Especially coming out of COVID and everything, like we have all kind of tightened our circles a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all are like we're mo beta friends.
This is killing me, Holmes.
Yeah, and then tertiary, like you're a lot better friends with those people, those select people before, and then
right.
you are getting out less and making new friends. I feel like that's a fairly good assumption to make over the course of what's transpired in the last 18 months or so.
Yeah, the abortion of this lockdown is just horrendous. Yeah, it's been too long. And I'd agree. I would 100% agree, because I think you realize the people that you need to surround yourself with. You start to see this thing has tested a lot of people. And it's tested people's characters and their willingness to accept others. It's tested their morals and their idea of what a human being should be able to do. And it's really drawn a lot of lines in the sand for a ton of people. And it's shown people a lot of truth and honesty that you may not have normally got if somebody had never been put in a difficult position. And that's made people realize, like, who do you really want to be spending time associating with? Who do you want to give your time to? Because time is so valuable. And I think people are starting to realize that, how valuable time it truly is. And if you choose to spend your time, it's not unproductive, but like being shitty, nobody wants to be around that. That's not, at least in my circle, everyone wants to just elevate everyone. It's just like stacks. People just want to do better and more and bigger and harder. And it's awesome. It's so invigorating and it's so charging and important. And people underestimate the real power in being around people like that. You can't get better when you're just around shitheads all the time. People who don't want to try, people who don't want to put effort in, people who just blame the world for their problems. It's a struggle and it irritates me. It irritates me a lot. And I think that's something that COVID has done. Is before I didn't really have boundaries. I never really set like lines in the sand. And now I've just been like, no. I'm comfortable with it too. And I don't feel bad about it anymore.
As far as just cutting people out of your life?
But like I hate saying cutting people out of your life because that sounds so cruel. I think.
It does.
But it's not always meant to be, though. Do you get what I mean?
No,
There's a way to do things. And I think I've always tried to be honest and not in a mean way.
Well, I don't know, because we do this, we act that way in what we would probably classify as like one of the most important relationships we have, in the sense of dating and trying to find a significant other. Typically, when that's done, it's usually by Felicia, and you never see that person again. I would say about 80% of the time, that's typically the case. You guys got too entrenched into each other. And when you split, there may be a little bit of conversation, but you're pretty much cutting ties, right?
Right.
We don't do that.
You don't do that at Black Rifle Coffee.
No. Well, usually because we get into this because we love each other. And so you don't have to do that necessarily, but it has happened. But that's not really how you treat a quote unquote friend, a high school buddy, someone that you knew in the military, to where you evolve and you kind of understand that the impression and input that person has on your life isn't the best.
Right.
And typically you're giving more than you're getting.
Right.
And it becomes an emotional, physical, financial drain on you to be a part of that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And typically people just don't go, you're done, bye.
Right.
But maybe they should. Maybe they should break up with that friend. Maybe that should be a thing where you're just like, no, this isn't good for me. And I know
I've done it.
We're not doing sexual things, but I don't want to talk to you again. I'm sorry. We just need to move on.
Is there something you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, we're on a podcast. I guess.
I mean, that felt close to the chest there.
Oh, it's for sure happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I just You're okay. We're catching it. Matt's catching it. We're getting it. Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it's steeped in truth.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to be, I'm not calling anybody out.
No, I mean, it was.
I just was like therapist pointing it out. It's like, I just wanted you to say.
No, I mean, if I'm coming across as passionate, it's just a.
Rubik's cubes.
No, something that happened.
No, I know. I just don't want to pry on. I don't know what you want to the extent in which you want to get into. Oh,
I mean, it's not a big secret, nor is it.
I don't know.
Super personal. No, it was just a byproduct. It was actually someone that I was originally going to join the military with.
Oh.
And couldn't go.
How come?
Medical stuff.
Oh, okay. So just like couldn't get the clearance or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That sucks. That breaks my heart when I hear that with people who are like so.
It was the asthma thing. It was like, I have asthma. I can't go.
Oh, it wasn't like I've had 12 knee replacements and I want to be a jumper. And they're like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
But do you know how jumping works? Like your knees you've had 12 knee surgeries. Right. Like you can't.
You just can't.
Sorry, Matt.
It's not something that you should not be landing on the ground.
Yeah, like I mean, that's a different thing. If somebody says that to you and you're like, God damn it, man, I'm sorry that you. They're like, all I ever wanted to do was just be a jumper, and I've had 12 knee surgeries, and you're like, damn it, I feel bad, but it was like asthma. So.
Yeah. No,
I don't feel bad.
It was just
I take my feel back bad.
I met in college.
Okay.
Had fun. Did dumb shit together,
Right.
Had a lot of those types of memories. Like, man, that was so stupid. Why we do that? I don't know. It was awesome though.
So
adolescence.
Okay. Yeah.
Innocence. You become friends through adolescence. And then as time went on, I mature and become a little bit more aware with how life is unfolding. And man, every time I'm with this person, it has a highly negative impact on me. And maybe it's just time to just say goodbye. Was it
decision making in terms of what you were doing, you're on your day to day, or was it emotionally? Was this person prompting it? Were they just do you get what I'm saying? It's almost like, when your kid, well, okay, you don't, but let me give you, when your kid's around another kid that's a fucking shithead and then it rubs off on your kid and then you come home and that kid's like, now, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I would say that's a fair example of.
This is what I don't get, is when you're younger, your parents there to do that for you. And that's accepted for you to just not be around that kid anymore. But when you become an adult, it's weird for people when you're like, yo, I don't like playing in the sandbox with you anymore because you're mean to me in the sandbox and I don't like it. So I'm a grown adult and I'm going to walk away. And then they go, you can't do that. And you're like,
yeah, no,
but I'm a grown adult and I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that weird? Because that seems weird. People act like that's weird.
Is it? I don't feel like it is.
I don't think it's weird, but I think others do though. I think it's hard to. I've done that in my life, and I always feel bad because I don't mean harm out of it. It's just like I'm in a different spot, and I'm really okay with protecting that.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay to be selfish like that.
I think it's a really mature thing to do. And I think in some cases it
never mature.
What, you don't seem like that's the case?
No, I agree with you. That's
never considered yourself being mature before.
Yeah, I just
no one's ever called me mature. It's so strange. I don't know how to feel.
Just had a weird
I'm a debateur.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I had that in a weird moment there.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you get these.
It's like an adult moment.
You are 100% an adult.
I know, but it feels like, it just feels weird. I think I turned 32 this year and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but if you think about it, we're all just little kids that just got bigger bodies.
I You guys got bigger bodies.
Well, yeah, we
Speak
did.
for yourself. Do not
Fair.
have that conversation with me.
That's true. I spoke too soon. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you really just spoke out of turn. How dare you say such things? My feet are the size of a small 12-year-old. No, you know what they are? They're the size of an 11-year-old because the president of my company, Tally Aldis, who really hates being spoken about publicly because she's so fucking awesome. And she's one of those people that you just want to show the world to because she just makes things better. She hates it when I talk about her. Anyway, her daughter's 11 and she wears bigger shoes than me. I know that because I gave her some shoes and they're like, she grew out of the ones you bought her that you also fit into. And I was like, can I have them then? Because my feet are staying there. She's still growing. She's 11. She's 11. It's fine. You guys can grow. It's whatever. You just throw it in my face. It's fine.
It's not how big you are that's important. It's the size of your heart.
But that is in direct proportion to the size of my body.
Yeah, it was a metaphorical saying. Fine, you're tiny. I don't know what else.
Thanks, Matt. Matt gets it. He gets it.
He gets it.
He gets it. Can we talk about something?
Yeah, I just want to bring that full circle real
Bring
quick
it.
because there is something to be had from that whole friendship conversation. And I think that it is the fact you kind of observe some of it, but what so many veterans intrinsically, I think, are missing when they get to the civilian side of life, or that they don't feel like they have a sense of brotherhood
No, that's
in their
exactly
day-to-day
it.
life. And I think that we're doing a fairly good job of crafting that type of experience where brotherhood is allowed to be brought together through common purpose and
Right.
unique ambitions and goals and common objectives. Granted, we're not getting shot at and we're not shooting anybody anymore, but it's this very fluid existence of being with people of the same mindset.
Right.
And I say that as being an important thing because I think it's important for everybody on this planet to know that they can exist in that environment, that it
Of
is
course.
capable to do that all day, every day.
Right.
For
Yeah.
your entire life. That you do not have to get stuck in this 9 to 5.
No.
And to bring it super, super full circle
Hit it.
with the Elon thing, like I just don't know
that's good.
how you can be as efficient as a human if you have these on-off switches.
No.
And I've tested this with myself. I'm like, how can I be the most efficient where I'm constantly in it? I'm on the grind. My creative brain is humming. Like ignoring the outside world and like, I'm going to go check out for 2 days. Yes, I think that that's important. I think what's more important is that you love what you do so much that it doesn't matter if you do it all of the time. Granted, that's a super difficult thing to accomplish, but it is possible. And if it is possible, why would you ever stop working towards that?
You nailed it. That's why I didn't interrupt you. I just let you go because you echoed the exact thing I would have said, but you just said it. You said it without stuttering. I'm proud of you. You did well, kid. You represented well, kid.
That's usually what happens.
You did it. I'm proud of you. You had a good moment there. Good job. Because that's true. You fucking nailed it.
Chesty Puller is smiling down from above. I can feel it.
That's all right. Good. I'm glad. It's just the light, but we'll let you have it. We'll let you have this one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But it's true. And I'm glad that you echoed that because that's important. I think people really, they think that they have to be stuck in this life. They don't. And it could be because of individuals telling them they can't or never having anybody push that or harness that or really foster that in someone. But you can. And it is possible. It's been proven time and time again. I just think I'm excited and hopeful that with the pace that we're going, more would want to join in on that fun. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I personally believe that, or at least my leadership philosophy is leading by example. It's, I guess, from my previous success in life.
Right.
That's kind of what, and it's easiest to do probably. And it just tees up this existence of an awareness that, like, if somebody else is doing it, I can probably do it. And I think if you get to that point, you also can have this thought of nobody does, I'm not the best at what I do. I'm the only person that does what I do.
Right.
And I think that mindset of embracing this individualism in the midst of being in existence with close to 11 billion people at this point.
It's just too many people.
Kind of spurs something important on the, like, oh, I want to have a purpose. I want to bring something to the table in this thing we call a human existence.
I think the way that society is shaped, you have to, if you want to evolve, you want to, that goes back to genetics though, right? That innate drive that's built in you to be the elite. That's such a human thing. But it's fascinating to see it on different execution levels. Because you can almost think back to like evolutionary scale and really think you can see who would have survived. It's really fascinating to look at that in modern age, though, and when you think back at it, because that's like what you're talking about. It's like if you know that one person can do it, why wouldn't you just be trying to do it? Why would you accept what you're accepting? I know, there's like people say there's fucking water, man. It's brutal.
Are you okay?
No, it is so carbonated. I think because I've had 2 today.
You getting the burpees?
Yeah, I can't stop. I feel horrible about it. I apologize. But
I just want to go back to, if I could time travel, I want to go back to that moment when the first group of humans attempted and were successful at killing a mammoth.
But okay. There's so much to unpack there. So much to unpack there.
So this is a byproduct. I've just been digging into the whole carnivore situation a little bit. And once you start doing that,
I wouldn't have guessed. I mean, we didn't just eat 2 types of steak for dinner. It was awesome.
It's so good.
We just had 2 types of steak for dinner. Like Miguel cooked. Okay, so Miguel is this really awesome person that never gets acknowledged. I'm going to acknowledge him because he's been.
What do you mean he doesn't get acknowledged?
I never get a chance to acknowledge him, so I'm acknowledging him.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's important. I think he's a cool guy.
He is.
And he works really hard. Anyway, so Miguel
absolutely does.
Yeah, and he cooks like a champion. So he's
Cuban.
Is that why? I can't say that.
I think in part.
I cannot say that. Can you say that?
Yeah, all Cuban food. Can
you say that?
It's awesome.
Okay.
All the Cuban people I know make awesome food and awesome coffee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just don't. I don't know if I have a Cuban friend.
No.
No, I'm trying to think because I like.
Well, you do now.
I know Miguel. I love him. He's great and he's amazing. And we were talking earlier about like being parents and like stuff a little bit. Like, and he's just really, it was cool to hear him talk as a dad because you see a different light turn on than you see like at work and like all of those things.
Yeah.
Anyway, he made a steak tonight and he was like, here's your starter. Here's flank steak. Here's your main. And it was, we have a ribeye steak?
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. And he was so like, instead of like tried to force me to eat meat the way you guys would normally eat meat, I was like, can you cook it a lot for me? Can you cook it a lot? He's like, yeah, that's shameful. And I despise knowing you now that I know that about you. But he did it and he was kind about it. He didn't make me feel horrible about it.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like someone asking for sugar and cream in their coffee.
I know.
And at the end of the day, they're still drinking coffee. So it's okay.
I know. But every time we go to a nice restaurant, my husband is like, just before she speaks and opens her mouth, please just give my dearest and deepest apologies and give her the worst cut of meat because that's what she deserves for having it cooked the way she has it. Yeah, he hates it. But he does it for me though because, I mean, he loves me and I'll bitch.
We like what we like. My grandpa was the same way. He wanted he always wanted his burgers like well done.
Yes.
Like what? And he was like such a freaking American dude. Like you could have plucked him right out of the American Graffiti movie. You know, just grew up building cars and he got married at 19 and worked for the city and probably never even went on a computer.
I love how your face snarls up when you're talking about an old man and he's always like, he did this and he just, like your face just immediately turned into an elderly man.
Probably.
Who is just very strained all the time.
I'm imagining looking at my grandpa.
I know, but it's just funny because I just watched you go there. Mm-hmm. I watched the whole transformation in front of me. It was intense.
My grandpa was very inspirational to me. He, one, because of how dedicated he was to his family, and two, how much he wanted to do stuff himself.
Independent man.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether it was like a big project, something around the house or, you know, a larger scale maintenance thing. Like he wanted to be doing it himself.
Busy guy.
And that made a huge imprint on me. And I think about him as a lot as we work into this digital age.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's always one that's like bringing me back to this messaging of like, dude, work with your hands. And it's funny because both him and that specific message were wrapped up into one of the messages that I got back after I got back from Mexico. Well, it happened in Mexico, but going down to Mexico to do Ibogaine.
Right.
And typically get a, just some sort of lesson-based, awareness-based, like here's like a current state of where you're at. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just see yourself. Sometimes it's here's something that you need to take away to improve your life.
How many times have you done Ibogaine?
That was the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went, that was the most recent one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's, yeah. It's interesting because the thing I learned when I started dabbling in that psychotherapy and then psychedelic therapy and things like that is your family is always somehow like woven in to something, some aspect of it, some learned behavior or something. And it really helps to understand it. And you see people differently afterwards from it and you can understand it differently. And I just like that those types of treatments help you not only like move forward, but like do so much back work and just kind of fix things that were so damaging that will stop you from becoming this person you could be. And I just think they're really special, like when they're used properly. And it's nice to see others have experienced those things and have positive results and healthy results and long-lasting results and impactful results from that. It's nice. It's nice to see that. And it's important. I think it's really important. But I think it's fun because that's the common thing with, I feel like people who have done therapies like that is they all seem to have a deeper understanding of themselves and their families. And when you talk about things like that with them, it hits on a different note. It's not like, my grandfather worked hard. It's like,
right.
Cool. It's like my grandfather worked hard. He was this stoic man who, I learned this and this from, and I watched this. And it's like, they get this, like you can see the change. And that's what that was. That like face, that whole like in depth without even realizing you're doing it. That's what that was. And that's when you can almost tell right away somebody has experienced something that you don't get outside of psychedelics.
Caleb, did you know with Black Rifle Coffee's Coffee Club subscription, you can get fresh coffee shipped to you every month? What? You don't even have to go to the store. Whoa. You don't even have to leave your bed.
What? Wow. How did you get in here? You might want to go ahead and join the Black Rifle Coffee Club subscription before one of these guys shows up at your place.
Say more on that.
What do you mean?
When you say get more outside of psychedelics?
Like insight. I find you get a different insight.
Do you feel like that's the most powerful insights you've gotten as you've gotten out of the military?
Oh, like in terms of things that I've done that have given me the most insights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think as you obviously get older and you develop and you learn more about yourself, that comes with time. But I think there's ways to assist and maybe just like rocket ship that level shit. And like that takes commitment and takes effort, and not a lot of people want to do that. And so if you do get the opportunity or you have the wherewithal to dabble into something that is that exploratory and you're looking inward. It's that much
introspection.
Oh, there it is. God damn it, Matt.
You're welcome.
It's Matt's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's God knows what hour. It's fine. Matt, when people are able to look and really, really kind of stare into the mirror and see themselves for what they are, that in itself is powerful and healing. And it has been the most impactful thing that I've done to date that has been in a small time frame. So like I'm trying to articulate it in the sense of like over, how long has it been? 10 years I've been out of the military.
Yeah.
The growth in that time frame to me is astronomical. And I had a certain level of insight up until I did psychedelics, right? And that's, again, just aging and learning and going through it. But when you it's like driving the plaid. You just put your foot on the floor, and it's like, you're like, duk, 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 up to that. It's like Fords. Tesla kicked in, and then it's like fucking rapid fire. Like it's a different thing. And if you choose to do that, you learn a lot about a lot of yourself in a really tiny time frame.
So you're not saying it's the most effective necessarily, but it's the most efficient way.
I don't know if I would agree with either. I think it's intensely effective if you do it properly and follow and stick with it and integrate it and use it properly. Yes, I think it can be incredibly impactful and overwhelmingly useful. Unfortunately, some people don't use psychedelics like that, right? Some people use them to party. Some people use them to do whatever, and that's totally on them. That's you do you, man. Do whatever you want. I use it specifically to better myself, and not because I want to do it in a short time frame, because it's such a shock to the system and a flip in reality. It's such a eye-opening, or what do you call it? You think in four dimensions afterward. It's
it at least I think paradigm shift is something that you could speak to describe it for sure.
And that'll shake someone to the core of themselves. So it's not really about pace, and it's not really about I think effectiveness is there, but I think there's a responsibility within that to integrate properly. And if you don't do it and you don't utilize the tool, then you shouldn't be playing with the tool.
Yeah, I agree. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
Yeah.
You know? And no, you're right. You explain a lot of that really, really well in the sense of how people can potentially be feeling. And I think it's part of everybody's journey to where they get to that fork in the road to like, do I want to improve myself or do I just kind of want to melt into existence?
Right.
Do I want to know what it's all about?
Right.
Or do I just want to put my fingers in my ear and la, 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 the rest of existence?
And that's fine if that's you, but I can't be around you. You can't be in my orbit. You can't be in the atmosphere. I can't feel you. I can't see you. That's horrible to say. I'm a horrible person. I can't because that affects me though. I pick that up. I feel that stuff.
Well, I think you can still exist with them. Maybe not. But like those 5 people.
That's what I mean, though. I mean, they're not within the 5. Oh, you can exist and like live. Like you can, if you want to do that with your life, I'm not going to be like, you're heinous. Get away from me. I don't want to like you're contagious. Like, no, I just mean I prioritize certain people based off of how much we jive. And there's certain people I jive with just happen to be a certain type of people. It just is what it is, man. Try harder. I don't know. Just try.
Yeah.
Just try a little bit. Like just for like yourself or like your family or like society, humanity. Just like give a shit.
Yeah. Ask that question. What is important for you?
Right.
What gives this life meaning? How do you work to improve that?
Correct.
And it's not easy. There's a lot of speed bumps along the way.
Yes.
And going backwards significantly.
Oh, it happens. Even after that's something people, that's something too that people I don't think talk about. Just because you do it doesn't mean it. Woo, I'm facts. Woo. Like, no. One time doesn't change. Like, it's a continuous work. It's effort. It's thought. It's time. It's all of the things that you have to put in to keep it moving, to keep it healthy, to keep it rolling, to keep it being better. You have to. This isn't a magic pill. This isn't like a. What's that thing they say? It's like it's not like it's easier to take a vaccine than it is to lose weight. Like it's not a cure-all. You have to fucking work at it. And psychedelics are like that. And I think if you use them, they're like that. You can make them be a part of self-improvement. It's like people who are like, their life is so bad, they just have to go on vacation. They grin and bear it and hang onto the fucking seats of they're just hanging onto their seats. It's like, I fucking hate every day of my life. I can't wait for that 1 7-day vacation of my life. Like, can you imagine living like that? Like, that's what that is to me. It's like, I can't not do it. Like, I don't want to go through life feeling that horrible all the time, hating everything I do. I want to use psychedelics to make it so that I can be so healthy that every day can be a vacation. My brain doesn't have to be a battlefield and chaos. It can be a vacation if I work at it and I try and I integrate properly and I respect what I'm doing it for and why I'm doing it. But that requires plenty of things people don't want to do. Effort, time, commitment, willingness, discipline. That's hard for people, man. You're asking for a lot. Think about that.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
I still can't make my bed every day. I'm horrible.
Get it together.
I know.
Jesus Christ. How long were you in?
The military?
Yeah.
Just over 4 years.
Okay. So like you and I are in about the same amount of time. Like get it together.
Right.
Come on.
I'm what we call, I don't know what you would have called it in the Canadian military, but a skater.
What's that?
I was a skater.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Matt?
You're skating past all that responsibility.
Oh, you just somehow got away with it.
Yeah.
How?
You just,
Did you have any women staff?
in the Marine Corps infantry?
Oh, I didn't know yet because you guys have them now, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Oh, sorry.
They have
I
made that change in the last decade.
Sorry. I forgot. I thought that was before. I was gonna say because I could see you doing shit like that. I could see you going those ways.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
think so?
Yeah. Not like doing
You
anything.
think I'm a little chow thief, a little blue falcon, just jumping in there?
No, I think if you had those staff, I feel like you could be like, I feel like you could have been like, I don't want to do it. And they'd be like, okay, Logan, you don't have to do it. But then they get like the small, skinny, like 18-year-olds, like the small little kids that they could like, just saying. I feel like that's, but you guys didn't have women. Okay. So then how did you get away with everything?
Get away with what?
Just not doing.
No,
Tell me your flaws.
No, I'm totally
Tell me your
kidding.
deep dog flaw.
I'm totally kidding.
Are you though?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's just
There's some
it's
truth
a
to
joke.
that.
Like Evan Hafer, the founder and CEO of Black Rifle, like he's a phenomenal human.
He doesn't email me back.
He's one of the,
I don't know how many shows I've said that on now. Like 12.
Thanks.
Hey, he told me to email him. He gave me his email.
Well,
I
he
was
may
like,
have given you
"Sup,
the
bro?"
wrong email. He may have
Well.
just given you like that wrong phone number.
That's not what I was told.
Who knows?
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
People got stuff to do.
We can inquire about that later.
It's all right. I'm not worried about
I
it.
don't even remember what. Oh, he's
Just enjoy teasing
Evan
people.
loves, he's a chow thief.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
He will get inside your food.
Oh. Okay. I get it.
It's like nobody likes a chow thief around.
No. It's aggressive.
Because if you get that chili mac MRE,
We didn't have those.
you set it aside
And you're just waiting.
and then it's gone.
That's him.
Yeah.
That was you?
No, that was Evan.
But that wasn't you though at all?
No, I wasn't a chow thief.
Not even a little?
No, I was a skater.
So you can't be both.
I think it's like there's probably a personality test there.
And they have each category has been filled.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
are you a chow thief? Right?
Mm.
Are you a skater?
Mm.
Right? Like skaters like, hey, go sweep the laundry room. And then all of a sudden you disappear.
Yeah.
Like you're just gone.
Oh, there
Like,
was plenty of you. I know all about you.
Right. You went to
Mhm.
chow and you never
Yeah.
came back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Skater. Blue Falcon.
Break it down.
You don't have Blue Falcons?
No, but this is my show too. So you want to explain that for people?
A different way to say buddy fucker.
Oh.
So this person would be someone who like loses their sleeping bag like right before they have to go turn in all their gear and steals their roommate's sleeping bag.
Oh no.
So they can have all their gear when they turn it in.
I've never heard that terminology before.
No.
No.
It's a pretty popular thing in American military
Okay. Wow.
culture. Yeah.
Was there any other ones?
I'm sure there is. Well, in the Marine Corps, it's not a person, but it's an affectionate term for the Marine Corps called the big green weenie.
Okay.
And we would use that to describe any time collectively as usually a platoon or higher size element
Okay.
was collectively fucked.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
you're on a field op. It's Friday night. You're supposed to hop in the 7 tons at like 1600
Okay.
and they don't show up. It starts raining and you don't get out of the field until Saturday morning. You would be like, green weenie strikes again.
I feel like I'm learning I'm learning so much. I'm excited about it. I need a little dictionary.
Did you guys have any non-affectionate terms for people who were
Shit
pieces
pumps.
of shit?
Shit pumps.
Shit pups?
Shit pumps. Do you remember me saying that? You said you listened to the episode.
Shit pumps, as in like a bad trip, like a shitty trip?
No, as in like somebody's a shit pump.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah. That was we talked about that with not on our show, the Andy one. Remember?
Oh.
Yeah. That was it ended up being a thing. People are shit pumps. So it's like the guy or the girl that the human being that was not good at their job, and they were just more of like, fuck. Again, you're the fucking, like, you're a shit pump. Like, you're just not, like, you're the guy who has an ND on an artillery gun, on a 105 howitzer. And I guess what? That happened on our graduation. So.
What do you mean on your graduation?
So the day that you become a gunner is the day that you fire a live round for the first time. Well, we practiced on the 105 howitzers. I think they were the 105s.
Your graduation is also the first time that you shoot the gun?
No, it's not your graduation of the actual graduation of becoming an artillery gunner. It's the time that you go from being getting called a private to a gunner. It's like the first time you become a gunner. So like you graduate later, but like your cap badge, I guess you already have your cap badge changes from the cornflake in basic training to your like artillery gun. Like cap badge.
So it's way cooler.
Goddamn, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good moment.
So it's a good time to
be
confident.
Yeah, we had one. And it was live. And it was downrange. And so were the FOO, which were the forward observation officers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Were there some puckered buttholes?
Yeah, it was fine. It was good. They were obviously very lucky, but God damn it, I remember it though. It was in Gagetown. It was in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
It was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a tall, skinny dude. Who am I going to ask that'll know that? Who will I know that will know that? There's a couple people I know that will know that. So I'm going to call them after this and ask them because I want to remember exactly who that was. But yeah.
You sure you don't just want to live call them right now on the show?
No, I can't do that. I mean, you know me enough now to know that I would do that.
I guess I'm trying to imagine how you ND.
Oh, easily.
An artillery gun.
So you can be standing there.
String gets tied to your pocket and you just walk away.
No, it's just that. It's that
this is
more.
So cartoonish.
Right. It is though. But it's so when you're standing there and you're all ready. So the guy or the girl who has the lanyard, you one hand on the hip, and you just stand there and you wait. And you're supposed to wait for the sergeant to look at you and go, fire. And like the point, like there's a reason, there's a whole body motion into it. Just in case you hear it by accident in your little brain, you need to know it. And so he was watching, and I don't know if he just didn't pay attention or his brain shut down or he had a small seizure, but he twisted his hip and pulled the lanyard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think he said he thought he heard him say it. But this guy had this.
What was his reaction after it happened?
People, oh my Christ almighty. He was terrified because it went screaming, just fucking horrific. Like that's training. That's how people die in training accidents. Like that's the rarity. That shit happens. Like we lost people. I don't know if I think it was the year after me that did workup training in Alberta, and like a tank rolled. Like shit happens in training. People accidentally shoot people in the fucking head. It happens. We had in Alberta, we had another one of those in workup training in Wainwright, Alberta. We were in the back of a truck. I remember the name of the person. I'm not going to say it though.
Probably shouldn't.
Not going to do that to him. But for once, I was proud of myself for having like memory recollection. So I just wanted to like acknowledge that I was real cool and remembered something for once. So it's like whatever though.
You deserve that.
Yeah, I know.
For sure.
I'm going to take it.
It's always a wonderful day. Like, oh my God, my brain works.
Yeah, it was like, wow. Oh, hey. Anyway, so we were in the back of the truck. It was like a tented truck. We were all just sitting there waiting. It was the first like whole, I don't say company, but it was like The Air Force was involved. Everyone was involved. It was like, I think it was Operation Maple Leaf. And we were just doing this like live.
So there was way more people to embarrass yourself in front of.
Bro, everybody was there. And the artillery gunners went out and we were playing infantry for that part. Like we were just being like, we weren't doing artillery. And we each got, I think it was like 4 or 5 live rounds. I think it was 4. And we had to load around, chamber around, wait. And he fucking popped and it shot through the roof of the tented truck. And I just remember going, oh no. Because you hear a live round go off and everyone just fucking turns and is like, what happened? Like, because that's, when that happens.
And it was in the truck.
Bro. In the truck.
Oh.
Not like straight up either. Like,
oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It wasn't good.
Was it a 105?
No, it was a 7.62. Just like a...
Oh, a rifle ND.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we had a rifle ND during then, and then during gauge time, we had the 105, 40-pound round. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Why are you even judging? It's fine. It's not even a big deal. So whatever.
I was pretty close to being on the receiving end of 155 at one point.
Please tell me about this.
Yeah,
because
it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all.
That was like a massive fear of mine.
Being on the receiving end?
Well, no, both. Being on the end that drops on someone that it shouldn't drop on. That's a real fear, man.
It should be.
Yeah. But then like, some people that also like run those guns with you and you're like.
It was a byproduct of the chaos of combat intermixed with the fact that we were a little angry. We were a little angry. We were fighting angry.
Oh, so you were going for it.
We may have like collectively done some things inside of danger close ranges that wasn't exactly by the book.
Okay.
But nobody collectively cared at that point because of the fights that we were getting in intermixed with the fact that these guys kept coming out of the same area over and over and over again. And we were like, we have to deal with this. We have to figure this thing out. And it was later in the evening.
Okay.
We were in our main patrol base where I was for a majority of.
What base was that?
It's called PB Almas.
Okay, no.
It was right on the Helmand River.
Oh, Helmand.
Yeah.
Fucked in that province. What year was that?
10 and 11.
Okay.
Yeah. Right on the river.
Yeah.
Like we had to cross this little single pane footbridge because the bridge, we thought we could make a better bridge than what was there. And it wasn't a dinky river. It was.
Did your engineers come in?
Yeah, the engineers came in. They tried to put a bridge over the existing Afghan bridge.
How'd that work out?
It didn't, not really.
Okay. Nope. So why didn't we blow and restart?
Blow what?
Why didn't we blow the bridge and rebuild properly?
Because they fucked it up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The mechanical bridge that they brought in was just at too steep of an angle to drive anything up or take a donkey cart.
How? Why is that not?
How did the military fuck this up? Is that what you're asking me?
But I thought you were supposed to be like, I'm a special guy.
I think you think that I was a little bit more special than what I was.
Well, I mean, it's not that, but I mean, most of you guys were decent. Weren't you at your job if you were in those provinces? Like,
it's pretty decent, yeah.
That's okay. So my fucking point stands. Why?
but it's also the Marine Corps, which I don't know how much relevant, kind of ethos information about each of the prospective branches. We do
I know about
more
the-
with less, and we have more stupid courage than anybody else.
I know, but I also thought there was like common sense, kind of intelligent. Huh?
Yeah. Sometimes
Okay, cool.
there is.
Cool.
It's not a guarantee by any means.
No,
Obviously.
but I was, hope and pray at this point.
So every time we had to cross this footbridge, which was every time we left the wire, we would have to leave with 40 plus pounds on our back on a swaying footbridge that if you did fall, like no ifs, ands, or buts, no one's coming in after you. You're sinking to the bottom of the river.
Did anybody fall?
No, surprisingly not.
That's actually not bad odds. I mean, considering that thing being that sketchy. Well, I wonder, did the Afghans ever maintain it? Was there ever a point where, like, before that, they looked after
that base?
Yeah.
I don't know what ended up happening to that base. Because we were co-located there.
Right.
And then
the Brits, right?
No, not the Brits. Well, the Brits, we took over for the Brits.
Oh, okay.
We took over for the 40th Marines.
Okay.
They were there before us, but when I was there, we were just working with the Afghan National Army. So they had their own little area in the compound, and then we had
Yeah, because I know the guys that I was with, they were in Helmand, all through that fucking place.
Yeah, if I didn't trust a Marine to do maintenance on a bridge, I definitely wasn't trusting an Afghan to do it.
Well, no, I don't disagree with you. I just throwing it out there. Because it's better that it's not you that falls in to do the maintenance.
Yeah.
Or an American.
No.
Insensitive.
Like, am I doing maintenance on a bridge in the middle of that? Is that what you're wondering?
Yeah, it's better to if it's not you, or an American. I'm trying not to be I don't want anyone to get hurt, but during that time, it would be better if it wasn't a Marine doing the maintenance.
Sure. Yeah.
Can you help me here?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just left me there. Let me drown. You let me drown.
Just get a couple guinea pigs. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. Looking deep in your soul right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm shocked that nobody fell in. I think that's impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that you look back on, you're that just doesn't make sense that didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm the odds of the amount of times that you went over it and the amount of people that didn't drown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, there were circumstances where you're I would have never imagined that happening.
Fair.
And then the thing that you would be somebody's definitely falling off this and dying doesn't happen.
They're going to die for sure. 100%. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we got these artillery rounds that were called Excaliburs.
Yes,
Did
I
you
know
guys
about
have
them.
these?
Yes, they're
Yeah.
very expensive and they're only used for. Did you fucking get to shoot an Excalibur? Fuck. Oh. Is that the round? Is that the one that almost killed you? Oh
No.
my God. Okay,
No.
I was going to say, I'd be so. God damn it. They're so rare to shoot.
Yeah, it's cool. It's more rare to be nearby one when they go off. But it wasn't the Excalibur. So what happened was we were calling for fire with GPS-guided artillery rounds
Yeah.
called Excaliburs. We were aiming for this orchard that was
So jealous.
800 meters away as the crow flies.
Oh, why?
Yeah, it's close.
That's tight.
It's close.
Oh, that's too tight.
Yeah, it's too tight. It was too tight. It was too tight. So after
I
putting
don't know if I've ever heard a human say that.
it's too tight.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's too tight. It can be too tight. It can be.
Can it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now the burping starts again.
That.
So we're not having success with these Excalibur rounds.
Because it's too tight.
It's too tight. So the line / I don't know who exactly made this decision. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But they switched from these Excalibur rounds to airburst rounds.
Why wouldn't they just do HE? Why would you do airburst that close?
Because specifically we were trying to shoot in this orchard, right?
So I get it, but like you went from a GPS rocket propelled, pinpoint accurate round within danger close territory and then swapped it for something that explodes in the sky that's designed to cover a large area with 800 meters. Okay.
You got it.
Marines, feeling good. Okay. Logic. Keep going.
So as it turns out, they didn't recalibrate the guns
Okay, this is getting good.
after they switched the rounds from being a GPS guided one to the airburst rounds.
Were these Americans firing this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, it
just
sure
wanted
was.
to clear that up, making sure we know who was firing that.
Yep. And it didn't go the same place that the Excalibur ones went. Surprise, surprise. The first 3 hit over the river.
Okay, so nothing.
Minimal shrapnel to the front of our base into the Hescos.
Okay, so that, again, would have killed. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I have all this on
understand.
video, by the way. And then,
What?
yeah. My team leader is on the front and he's like, whoa, that's too close, man. As he's saying that,
Yeah.
hear the next one come down. And you
Yes.
just see the camera shake and then you hear 2 more.
Did anybody decide to call it in?
Well, yeah, there was like, every swinging dick was yelling ceasefire at the top of their lungs after that.
Oh.
But it happened so fast, you really didn't have time to respond to it whatsoever.
Oh, that makes me feel sick.
I was walking to the front gate of the base,
Yeah.
or the front wall. As the second one was coming down, I sidestepped
Mm-hmm.
to the left, like 2 feet behind a cement pillar that was holding the gate up,
Yeah.
the open gate, and just like split second, just missed the shrapnel by a split second. Like I could hear it go by. I've never been shook so bad in
Yeah.
all my life. I've been nearby quite a few explosions. My whole entire being was never shaken like that, to the point where
Oh,
it's for a split second, there is
Makes me
no
feel sick.
plane of reality.
no.
The horizon, it completely fucks with your equilibrium. And it feels
Ugh.
strange to like come back to being settled after experiencing that intense vibration.
What happens when a call like that is made and comes that close to killing people? Like who gets his shit for that? Or did anyone?
There was an investigation and nothing came of it.
Because obviously mistakes happen in war. Like I get that, but like that's a mistake. That's like a take out your own fucking base mistake. Like that's not something you walk away from normally mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, sort of par for the course for that go around.
Oh, but I mean, how many deployments did you do?
I did 3 total.
In 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, only one of those was to Afghanistan. The other 2 were MUSE.
There were what?
MUSE, military or Marine Expeditionary Units. So that's when you get on ship.
Ship.
Yeah.
But you're a Marine. Don't you do land things?
Are you being serious right now?
Well, I just didn't understand. Like you guys are all ship.
Marine.
No, I know.
Marine. Water.
I know, but I think of Navy when I think water because we don't have Marines. We have Army, Navy,
Yeah,
Air
haven't
Force.
you heard that joke? The Navy's just the Marine Corps Uber.
No, what? That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Technically, we're a department of the Navy.
I didn't know that. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
I'm understanding it now. Huh. Interesting. I understood the name, but like I didn't understand. Like, no, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So you get put on a ship. At any given time, there's multiple mews floating around each of the oceans.
Just floating.
Yep.
Just waiting for shit to pop off. A motherfucker would.
A whole bunch of, shaven, testosterone-filled
Disgusting men.
stuck on a ship, 6 to a bunk, just ready to go.
Just what? If you logically think about that and break that down and look at that, that's just such an odd thing to do. Am I wrong?
To get on a transport that is a ship and
Just not come
go
off.
around to various countries throughout the world and potentially get into a gunfight and then jump back on the ship
and float
go
away
on
like a
vacation.
yeah.
It's a little weird.
It feels strange.
It's a little strange.
I feel like there's a whole thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Ships, not great. I wasn't a fan.
And how long total were you on those?
The first one was 7 months total, with probably about half of that time was on the ship. Less time on the second one, more time in Japan.
What does that feel like being on a ship like that for that amount of time? Like the not having land. That's like Waterworld shit.
It is. It's one of those things where you kind of get used to it and then you shut out the reality of what it is.
Kind of like any tour.
Well, you shut it off and then you like embrace it in its totality. I remember going up at night to one of like the top decks. And on a starless night, and it's a smaller ship, so you're just bobbing in the middle of the ocean.
I don't
You're
like it.
Experiencing this wave. It's loud. You can hear all this, but you can't see a thing in any direction. It is absolutely pitch dark, and you're just feeling the full weight of the ocean treat your ship like a toddler has a rubber ducky in the bathtub, and just know how powerless you are in all of it. And for me, it gets to that point where you're like, you drop through the bottom of, this is so fucking terrifying if I truly think about it. Life doesn't matter that much. Oh, well, if it fucking goes to hell, who cares? Let's just live it however the fuck we want.
Oh, it takes a turn.
Yeah.
Oh, a dark one. That's heavy.
It is. It was the first time I can remember actively that I had individual, solo, like philosophical contemplation about life, where I was like, I was just alone long enough, thinking about death long enough to where I kind of like came to an okay conclusion in my head about existence.
Right.
And the possibility of losing it.
Okay. I'm glad that you said that, because that's something that I went through, and I think a lot of people go through when they've done a deployment. Any deployment.
Oh, absolutely.
That is something that I've never talked about with anyone. Like I've never thought about it that way, because I had that rationalization and that I had that that contemplation, that thought process. How old were you when that happened to you for the first time?
20?
Yeah, so we were the same age. I was 19. So to think about that though, as a 19, 20-year-old kid being like, hey, this can just end, and like, I'm cool with it because I have no control of it. Having those thoughts, that wherewithal at that age is like, it's never thought about it like that, because I had that thought, but didn't realize. I know others, like I obviously know rationally, like if I've had that thought, most likely a lot of people have, but I've never unpacked that and like talked about that or really thought about that.
I think more people need to experience that thought.
Oh, 100%.
Because we float in this place of existence to where you're not really that close and that face to face with death.
Right.
And I feel like the people who have experienced that, like, I almost fucking died, dude.
Just happened.
Or experienced that multiple times, are just much more likely to have an appreciation for life.
Right.
Because they saw the other side of it. They saw what it was like to lose the feeling of existence, that it is all fickle and it could all go away. And the fact that you don't actually appreciate how good it is to be alive and breathe big breaths into your lungs, and how fucking amazing that actually is if you take a moment and you think about it and you think about how cool it is to be alive in this endless existence of stars. Because you can be like, oh, I don't mean anything. And inevitably your brain does go there.
Yeah.
But you can also like flex your muscles to the fucking ether and be like, I'm fucking alive. I'm here.
You can like Viking level that shit.
Yeah.
Because you can appreciate it. There's a difference when you've never tested yourself. There's a difference when you've never gone to the extreme of something. And that goes the same for death as it does for life. There's the balance and there's the understanding. And when you haven't almost lost life, when you haven't taken life, when you haven't had life challenge you to the extent in which you feel like you can no longer go on, you can never fully contemplate either one of those things, I feel like. Because there isn't an understanding of what those two things really, truly mean. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that spicy water went down the wrong pipe a little bit.
Okay, so if you didn't listen to the last episode with you, because the audio sucked, and that's our fault. And so we apologize for the quality, but let's do it anyway, because there was a really good story about peanut butter and jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly time.
It's peanut butter jelly time. And you went surfing on a giant peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you tell a story.
Yes. It was in Peru.
Doing what are you?
I believe this was my
What you doing in Peru?
second ayahuasca ceremony that I had ever done.
Where did you do your first one? Where was your first one?
It was in Peru. Sorry. So when I say that, not the first night we did it, but the second night we did it. So
okay. Sorry. I thought you meant like a second week, like a separate.
Second time.
Got it.
Yeah.
So second actual time. Apologies. That's my, sorry.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the second trip altogether. Just the second session.
Got it.
And I don't know why I say that outside of that's how they're broken down in my brain.
Okay.
As far as like what I experienced per ceremony, because they were all different.
I can totally relate to that.
It wasn't the same. Some are nothing but wonder and awe and appreciation. And some are nothing but everything that's wrong with you amplified at 11 for hours on end.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the way it is. And you kind of have to take these things as they come, obviously. And you have to explore all these dark corners in your brain. But at the end of the day, I think you have just as many light corners as you do dark corners in your brain, and you explore the lot of that
right
in its totality. And I think something that is hyper important when you go into these things, which is something they always make you do, but it's just saying your intentions.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess to me, it's a little bit like sitting down with that Marine Corps recruiter and be like, why do you want to join the Marine Corps, son? Like, are you looking for adventure? Are you looking for honor? And you're like, just not expecting to pick a service based off of a couple of those attributes that you may encounter while you're in the service.
Right.
But these ceremonies do have a sense of lesson-based orientation.
Okay.
To where I feel like there's very clear tabs to the folders, so to speak.
Okay.
A lot of times when I go through this. This one in particular was a escapade of a fun journey that crossed the entire galaxy, it felt like. And it would stop. And when I say stop, it would be like you're consuming the entirety of the geometric universe in 4 dimensions as fast as it can be consumed. And it's shifting and morphing in every way imaginable. And you just feel like you're at the world's coolest laser light show. And then it would just stop.
Right.
And then it would teach you something.
Right.
And one of those times it all stopped. And it creates this like sense of wonder as I remember these points where I was like surfing. You kind of appreciate your brain and what it's capable of.
Right.
Because the thing that you're seeing has so much awe and spectacle to it that you become happy that you were able to have this experience.
Exactly.
Which creates an appreciation of life.
Correct.
And to have a heartbeat and to feel alive.
Right.
And I think we just forget that sometimes, that we're these machines that have meat that move in a certain way to keep us alive. Like we're a walking, talking miracle every second of the day.
We're a meat
and
bag.
It's pretty, as many horrible decisions we make on a regular basis, it's also pretty cool that we exist, period.
And have successfully survived to the extent in which we have, considering what we do to one another.
This is very true.
Right.
Yeah. But these lessons kind of came in various ways, shapes, and forms. And one particularly stood out because what it ended up being was my checklist. Like, here, Logan, here's how you like stay in a good state of mind for life.
Right.
But it just told me this lesson in the most wonderful, imaginary way possible. So after we kind of pause from our surfing, and I'm saying because plural, because at this point I had something with me. I had like it started out as just like an orb that would like speak, and it would kind of like just be back here behind my head. And
aliens.
just be with me. But it would talk. And then it kind of evolved into this thing that had a name. It was called Abraham. And if I had to say it looked in it like anything, it evolved to look like a Care Bear. And I don't know why.
Oh.
But by the end of this ceremony, I was surfing the galaxy with the Care Bear who was teaching me life lessons. But all of the life lessons made so much sense. And were so like wonderfully clear and like direct and understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And the peanut butter jelly was, when we paused in the midst of our travels, we were floating in the darkness of space, and there was a giant, like the size of, just to give scale of something in space, like a Death Star, the size of a Death Star, but it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Correct.
And then Abraham started talking to me as we're floating towards this giant sandwich. And he's like, the top slice of bread is life, and the bottom slice of bread is death.
Right.
And these are the two things that are guaranteed. Right? Like you're going through the top, the other one is waiting for you.
Right.
And then it said, this other part, the peanut butter and jelly, the goobery goodness that makes the sandwich, is this in-between space, which I feel like a select few amount of humans have gotten into through near-death experiences, a deep state of meditation, doing psychedelics, doing activities that are close to death, where there's a threat of death, or it almost actually happens without your participation in anything that would potentially cause it dramatically. And people who really work on themselves and like want to go deep down inside themselves and like figure out what's going on and how to live and why life exists. And after talking to more and more people out in the world who have done this, we all kind of have the same take on it.
Right.
In the sense that there is this other state, and it may very well be one of the best parts about being a human. And it provides a lot of value to come back into the mundane of that top slice of bread, to where you go down and you scoop up a little bit of peanut butter, you scoop up a little bit of jelly, you take it back up there,
right?
And it helps you. It helps you deal with all of that stuff.
With all the shit.
So it told me, it was like, here's what you do. And it was like parental. Like the psychedelic thing was like almost like a parent like pounding its fist on it. It's like, this is what you need to do. But it's me talking to myself, right? It's what's going on in my brain when it's operating on this frequency.
Wait, hold on. Let me challenge that for a second.
Okay.
Because just let me know. Let me challenge it for a second. Okay. What if, are you sure it's you just talking to you? Or is something just speaking through you to you? Like another consciousness, another level, or another entity or thing?
How is that skirting the filter of your own brain, though? Say it is. So,
because it's a different frequency. There's different shit going on with the brain. Other things are firing in ways that don't fire. Like they've seen, they do scans and MRIs of people on DMT and these things, and there's places in the brain, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% sure, that have shown that before. Or they've done it with psychedelics and they show other parts of the brain firing. So I wonder if that is a part of the brain that is able to talk with other consciousness.
I wonder these things too.
I just got deep for a second.
And it's hard to we could fucking argue this all night.
Oh, it's not an argument. I just wonder. Sorry, it just made me think that.
It's so abstract. There's no way to fucking know.
I know.
We don't.
Just curious.
I am too.
It's just crazy.
And
I thought about it this weekend.
I've thought about it quite a bit. Regardless if it is your brain,
right?
Your entity,
yes, your consciousness,
moving into a different. We'll use the term frequency.
Oh yes, because there are that's been proven to show different wavelengths.
We're essentially having this conversation where, does that turn your brain into a radio? Or does it turn your brain into something that needs to translate what it's receiving,
right? And
then craft it in a way that makes sense for this machine,
right?
Because maybe it's what I don't want to believe is that if we pursue a state of consciousness that flips us over to just be receivers, and we don't have any control over specifically what we're receiving, that seems just like something I don't want to believe is true, because it would kind of provide this uber negative to this thing that I think is being a huge positive and helping a lot of people.
Oh, no, I can completely agree. I think there is a way to look at things. I'm always wondering from like technological standpoint of like people. I think we've talked about this last night in the truck. And it was like, we were talking about aliens. And it was like this, if you were an alien, wouldn't you want to go back and fuck with humans? Like, do you remember this?
Right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, no, that's the stance in which I'm looking at it. I think in the way in which you being able to talk with yourself and have introspective conversation that has done something positive, I think there's something to that as well. On an offshoot and tangent, I think fucking aliens, but that's.
Are you saying that you think that something can essentially kind of fuck with you through your brainwaves?
It's like, no, well, I guess what I'm thinking is like, think energetically. Think there's things that we can't see, but doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah.
Think like that is what I mean. So like, I'm thinking along the lines of like ayahuasca level, thinking like deity. This idea like grandmother ayahuasca, this thing, this plant, this consciousness that isn't yourself. That's what I'm thinking.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That just made me think of a really interesting question.
Okay.
If you were an alien.
Right. I mean,
and
if.
You had the power to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a unique awareness of everything on Earth.
Okay.
What would you do?
Do I have to stay on Earth? If I was an alien, like, so it's like, because like, if I was an alien, do I have to stay on Earth or could I just go do other alien shit? Because if you're like, you're an alien.
You can do whatever you want. You could just be like, you're not worth it, humans. Goodbye.
Yeah, I would probably do that. Because if you know of other shit that's popping off in the galaxy that you can travel to, wouldn't you want to know?
Yeah, of course I would. It would also beg the question if you're an all-powerful God, if you can be at multiple places simultaneously and experience anything, anywhere, at any time.
That's a different question, though.
It is a little bit different question, but as you're getting deeper into it,
but I prefer that.
You're, what would true like awareness of power be? In the sense that we can't control gravity.
Right.
We can't control time. But what if you could? How, like, what dimension would you be existing on, and what would that feel and look like?
Spending time in all of those things. I mean, I feel like there's an aspect of that with psychedelics where it feels like time bends when you're in it. Mm-hmm. Things change. You're not there. Like this, I had an experience this weekend and I don't want to get into it, but I'm working on unpacking it. But there's no way I wasn't here.
Right.
There's no fucking way I was here on this planet. There's no way. There's just no way. What I saw doesn't make sense. And so
now, explain that. When you say, or at least try.
Okay.
In the sense that, would you say it's an out-of-body experience for you, or you have this extensive dream state?
No, it's not a dream state. It's more than that. It's like, I don't know how to describe it yet.
It's so difficult.
It's so new. I'm working on this one. I've been working on this all day. I've been not trying to, but I've been just getting a lot of it all day.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I had a couple moments today where it was real heavy. I got some really good, like, just downloads of stuff. And one was really good. I got to talk through with someone. And it was amazing because it felt like I was getting it in like real time and I was giving what it needed.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt really good. And I like just cried at the end of it because I was like, that was like super fucking cathartic and weird. But it's fucking powerful. It's its own thing. It's hard to describe. I'll get back to you. That'll be at the next episode.
Do you typically write stuff down when you say you get these downloads?
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I write. And I sketch.
Yeah.
And I'm not a good sketcher, but it works for me. Yeah, I write. I scribble. I'm a scribbler. And then I got like, I don't normally type or anything. I normally write. But I was on the plane and my briefcase was up there and there was like the seatbelt fucking sign was on. And I was just sitting there and I was listening to some certain music and it just was like, I was like, I need to get it out. And so it's funny because I'll get my phone out and I'll set it. Sorry, Matt, I have to edit that. I'll set it like this and I'll just type like this.
Yeah.
Like really quickly, like just rapid fire. But it looks ridiculous because I get into like a weird Gollum state. Like this on the plane, like a hamster, just like rapid typing. And I get in this like weird like zone. And the guy beside me was just like, what the fuck is happening? He just kind of turned away. It's like, don't stare at the weird one. And I got like this huge, and it's weird because what I wrote like for that, I hadn't written that stuff. And the stuff that comes out isn't like the way I write. It's weird. It's super weird.
What's different about it?
Well, like it's not how I speak. It's not how my cadence. It's not how I talk. It's very forceful. It's very like commanding. It's not like I'm writing. It's like saying things as if so like for me to read it. It's really weird. I have the journal I wrote in for the first time I did like Aya. It is fucking wild. My husband read it. And like when people who know my writing read it, they're like, that's not you at all.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Lex read some on his episode that's coming up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I let him read a couple pages.
That's awesome.
Because he's really into like introspective, like, and like deep, like really thinking about consciousness and like all of those types of things. And I was like, oh, hey, Robot Man, you'll appreciate this. And he's like, can I read some of this out loud? I'm like, yeah, go for it. I don't know if it stayed in the episode, but it was maybe like super vulnerable to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, because it's like, it's almost chaotic. The writing is almost chaotic and like intense and like forceful. And it's got a lot of like, it's just weird. And yeah, I don't know. I just fucking, why not? Everybody has experiences. You might as well, it's not going to hurt anyone.
Well, it puts you in a super vulnerable state. But it's also probably at the same time super cathartic.
It's cathartic to do it. I don't know about how cathartic it is to share it.
Yeah.
It's cathartic to do it. But I've also learned that I'm a creator in a sense, and I'm trying to create awareness in this space to show the true healing it can bring and to show the positivity it can have and the impact. And I think in order to do that, if you want to do it properly and you want to do it justice and you want to do it the service it should, really, really have, is you have to be willing enough to just talk about what that exactly means. And it has to be honest and it has to be whatever it is. And there's no shame in any of that. If it's not clean, it's not messy, it's not anything, there's no shame in that. And I think it's important to be vulnerable about it. And I've kind of gotten to that point now where that's something I kind of preach is like, you have to be, I have this idea of like what I define a good person as, right? And I think being vulnerable is important for humanity's sake. And so that's an important, that's That's an important part of a person. And I think more people need to have that. And so I think, and psychedelics really help with bringing that out in people. And I've only ever seen positive results of people who've gone through that. They open up in ways like their lives get better. Mm-hmm. They're able to just see things differently, and, people heal, mm-hmm. and marriages get better and families get better and people love themselves and people feel like they can move on. And there's no reason you should be vulnerable about it. So I wrote again. Yeah. So I was writing a lot today when I was here, hanging out at your place with the dogs.
When you do these writings where you're like, that's not me, do you think about what it is, where it's coming from?
I wonder, but I don't know. It's weird for me. This thing that I've experienced has been so impactful to me. It feels more. It's not like a psychedelic. It's like it's connected to something that I don't even know I can relate with in a way that I just trust. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. I just trust it, and whatever that means, there's a belief in something there.
Yeah. It feels like it's a part of you.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Get it, homie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deep shit.
I've experienced the same thing quite a few times.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. It's hard to describe. It really is.
Well, that was one of the things in the peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
Which the tasks to do in order to pull from the peanut butter and jelly.
Correct.
To get it back into life was to journal. Mm. And not just like, I went to the grocery store today. Like Kelsi and I ate meat in different types. But like making it meditative, making it ceremonious.
Yeah.
Doing breathing exercises before it.
Right.
Clearing your head. Mm-hmm. Which ties back to one of the underlying features of all the things in the peanut butter and jelly, which is creating space.
Right.
A lot of times in some way, shape, or form. Meditation, writing, running.
Physical fitness, yeah.
It's creating space.
Yes. Yeah.
To do those things for yourself. I also think creativity is in its own like little box in the peanut butter and jelly that's like kind of almost the hardest one to crack.
Right.
To like figure that thing out.
And that's your thing too, right? Like that's your whole thing. It's
not just my thing. It's the most.
But I mean, you in particular, your job, like your life, that's like you're the creative. So that's something I would think for you would be the one thing I would want to access the most.
Yeah. That's definitely where you want to, which program you want to hack into the most.
Right.
I read some survey that surveyed a bunch of CEOs across the world. It was like 500 or something like that.
Okay.
Almost like, and I'm talking about one or two here. Almost every single one of them ranked creativity. It's the highest skill that you can have as a human. Yeah.
Well, if you think about that, break down like, what creativity is and why that is such an asset. I mean, of course, that should be right up there. I mean, without creativity, there's no progression or innovation.
How do you define creativity?
That's a good question.
It's such a good question.
God damn it, you nailed it. Look at you. Look at this.
Because I also at the same time don't know what's going to come out of my mouth to answer this question.
That's good. You're really making.
So I'm kind of putting myself on the spot at the same time.
I can't. You just boast it up in such a way, and your face makes me want to punch it.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Creativity, in the sense of, I see it as essential to life. It's essential because it's the only way forward. Because without creativity, there's no creating anything. You're not progressing. You know, creativity is what is at the heart of all innovation and thought. It's without it, we can't exist.
We might be able to, but we're not hunting anything. Probably like where we were when we were like scavengers as a species.
Yeah.
But everything that we currently enjoy has been a byproduct of creation.
Correct. So it's you would only expect it to be ranked the number one everywhere.
Yeah.
It would be.
It makes sense.
I mean, it's logical. What is creativity to you?
I think one of those bullet points is the pursuit of original. To think thoughts that nobody else has ever thought before, to come up with ideas that nobody's done before. Even if you don't do it every single time, or it doesn't always pan out, but to pursue that, to pursue something at least mostly original. Now, I do think it was the Bible that said there's nothing original under the sun or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. But also, like I was talking about before with this using your hands thing, like, I think it's this desire to build and to form.
Right.
Like creating Legos, like doing a Lego build is fulfilling.
Right.
In its most basic form, because you took one thing and you used creation in the form of instructions, and then you used your hands and you smashed those things together. And in a way, it is creation.
Of course, it's creation. That's why they have Lego. That is not, you can just buy like red blocks or blue blocks or green blocks. You don't have to buy sets of things. There's this understanding that they want you to innovate and create on your own. And that's what they have. Like, have you ever heard of BrickCon?
No.
Oh.
What's BrickCon?
It is where people go and build Lego, and they're builders from all over the world. And they go to like a convention center and they build these obscene, just insane sets like you've never seen before. And in order to get attention from Lego, and if you get somebody sees it and they buy it as like a design set, you get a percentage of that for every set. So it's like there's this, literally we went to, my husband, like I love Lego. So we went, there was like, I think it was like his parents got us these tickets to go to BrickCon. It came to BC. And we went and it was it was rad. These guys built, I've never seen some of this. Like it was, I can't even fathom. I can't describe to you.
BrickCon had a huge impact on you.
It was fucking weird, bro. Well, no, because like people from like Sweden flew to British Columbia to build Lego sets.
What kind of bricks are we talking about? Like
little bricks.
Normal size Legos. And they would do
What do they think this is, Duplo? Are you 4?
Well, I mean,
my son has those, but he also has,
I don't know if we're making like huge buildings out of big Lego blocks, because I could see that too.
Like anyway, and you can buy like super rare stuff there. So I end up getting the Toy Story Legos. You know, the little green army men?
Yeah.
I have that set.
How many are there?
There's like 5 in there, and then there's a Jeep. And Jack plays with them now.
I just asked because I've been wanting to do a stop motion Army Men commercial for Black Rifle. Where there's like this,
yes,
because there's that scene in Small Soldiers. There's a bunch of green army men.
Yeah, they're the best.
And then they like they have to use all the everyday, ordinary objects as cover and concealment and weapon creation and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to do that.
With the Green Army men.
Yeah. Green Army men are just, there's something about them. When you see those little things, I don't know, I love them. I love those. Yeah, so anyway, BRCC was dope. But Lego's crazy. It's a spectacular
creation.
thing. Yeah, isn't that amazing to think that like the shit that has just come out of people just going, hey, I think this would be cool. Just trying it. Just taking like a 2-second chance.
I still don't feel like we've just correctly defined creativity.
I don't think we have, but I think that is where my brain is at with it currently in the state. That's one of those questions I'd like to sit on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd really like to sit around a fire and think about it.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
We've been doing all the good ideas today. We've got the coffee ideas. We have the shirt ideas. We have the podcast ideas. And we have the other shirt ideas. What else did we come up with today? Yesterday we had some shit.
Well, my mind just goes to the shirt ideas.
I know, but
those were great.
Those were solid. No, and then we had the other shirt idea about the grenades. We had a lot of ideas today. I was supposed to tell Miguel some stuff so we didn't forget. Because it was good. I just got to sit in the outside and it helped.
In the very zen backyard.
In the zen backyard. It was really nice. You just hear the bugs and like just the quiet. It was fantastic. And the dogs were awesome and we wrestled and it was great.
Just some dog wrestling.
It's fine. You did it. I'm proud of you. Look, hey, sounds good.
That concludes today's training. Any questions?